So, Mom,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you would agree with this. The internet is a very scary place.
Is it?
Do you not agree? Like, I feel like every day there's an instance that makes us go, "Oh, that was creepy."
I
Like just
agree.
just yesterday, I feel like when my mom was shopping for what were you shopping for? Like from Bidec, bed sheets
Yeah.
that made its way onto my Instagram feed, and I
That's
was
how
like,
you knew it, is it?
yeah, and I was like, why am I getting recommendations for bed sheets? And it's also funny and cute actually. Like closer to my birthday, I feel like a few weeks before my birthday, my mom's always trying to surprise me with a cake and like a nice bouquet of flowers. But I always get ads for that on my Instagram feed. So I already know. And it's so cute because she doesn't tell me until the end. And I'm like, I kind of knew because Instagram told me already.
No, you know what? Now this is why I've decided no more surprises.
Ouch.
And I'm sure, adding on to what you've just said, I'm sure you would agree that your phone listens to you. So there were times when
Mm,
we would say, the government is listening to me and they are listening and they are listening. But now I believe your phone is listening. So where will you hide?
yeah.
Everything that we discuss, Nandini, with each other, how many times have we seen those ads shooting up in your Instagram just with
I
discussions?
know.
We've not even searched or looked up for that product or something to buy, and yet you would find those recommendations. My mom and I, when we speak every day in the morning, she tells me often that I found this as notification on my phone, and that really surprises you. A song, a show, whatever it
Right?
is.
It's so creepy. Or even me, for example, when and this is a really, really bad habit, but before sleeping, I always have to look at Instagram for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And there'll be like a random reel of like a stand up comedian.
Listeners, I must interrupt and tell you, this is not a habit. This is her lullaby.
It's a bad habit. No, but like, for example, there'll be like a random stand up comedian with a really funny reel, and I'll watch it and then I scroll. And then all of a sudden, I'm seeing more and more reels from the stand up comedian. So that 5 minutes of screen time ends up becoming 45 minutes because my algorithm, it has learned that I want to watch something funny.
And everyone knows that these platforms, they store your data and they use it.
Mhm.
And this documentary that we are going to be talking about today, The Social Dilemma, really takes you behind the scenes. It literally exposes how these firms, these platforms, they manipulate you every day. And what you are selling and what they are selling is your attention, your time on that screen.
That's so true. And just to put it all into perspective, I think the best and the most hard-hitting dialogue from this documentary was in the beginning. There was a quote that said, "Only two industries call their customers users: illegal drugs and software." I mean, that it truly is that, isn't it? It's addiction. So with that, let's get right into the social dilemma.
Hello, listeners. Welcome to another episode of Oops, We Binged It Again. I'm Mukta here with my daughter Nandini with another recommendation for you.
And as always, we give you a spoiler free review of a movie, a show, or in this case, a documentary that we watched, all across your usual Netflix, Disney Plus, all of those platforms.
And we continue our Netflix journey this week as well. So we watched the documentary, The Social Dilemma. And in the same old fashion, if I have to use one word for it, hard hitting is what I would call it.
Ooh, absolutely. And I think closely related to that, I'd say alarming. Because if you remember, there were so many times during when we were watching this, I would just pause, look at you, and we'd be like, God, that is creepy. So this is what actually happens.
Exactly. And you must think, how did we get to this documentary? Because we've been telling you that Nandini is not she doesn't usually like to watch documentaries. I can watch anything because it's me trying to pass my time. But for her, mm-mm.
Yeah, I'm not usually a documentary person, but when I was studying back in the US, I remember this professor had actually recommended watching The Social Dilemma. And at the time, I was like, oh, it's a documentary. But I felt like, okay, it's homework. If I watch it, I can talk to him about it. So I watched it. But God, I don't think I ever forgot it. Like, I remember immediately telling you and asking you to watch it. And recently, we watched it together.
Yeah, because when you asked me to, I was so intrigued. I was like, let me see, what is it that she's on about? And then listeners, trust me, Social Dilemma is not just any normal documentary. It was nominated for 7 Emmy Awards. So you can imagine it must be something different. It had won 2 of them, including the one for Best Writing, which makes sense because the way they put everything together, oh, it's brilliant.
Genuinely, yeah.
It was also nominated for the Best Documentary Feature at the Critics' Choice Documentary Awards.
Ah, really? Oh,
Yeah.
wow. No, I feel like all these awards and nominations do it justice because it's very, very cleverly put together. So, for you listeners, very simply, how is the film structured? Well, it's part documentary, part drama. I would say the documentary bit, that's mostly interviews. And it's not just interviews with random people. It's people who've actually built and monetized your usual platforms like Facebook, Instagram, all of those. Like, for instance, there is the guy who invented the like button on Facebook. Then, if I'm not wrong, we also had the co-founder of Pinterest.
Yes.
And then there's the person who worked on YouTube's recommendation system, like the one that is getting you every morning.
I know. And even a Google design ethicist, I think his name was Tristan, right?
Yeah, Tristan Harris?
Yeah. Tristan
Yeah.
Harris, yeah. Tristan Harris. Now, these are people who have left the firms, the companies, because they perhaps felt whatever was going on inside of it was maybe not right.
He's on the wrong track. Like it's just-
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. And then you can think of them as the insiders or the whistleblowers, or maybe
Mhm.
not. And they've also invited professors from Stanford, Harvard, New York University, the lawyers, and here they talk about the psychological effects, the data tracking, all of that. So that's the documentary part. And the drama part that Nandi was talking about, there's this fictional family, a family with 3 kids, and the producers have used those 3 kids to personify different personalities with social media effects. So like Ben, the kid in the family, he's becoming increasingly and eventually addicted to social media. But then there is this Isla, the youngest sister. She's already addicted and she's also facing that body image issues. And then there's the elder sister. She is yet to be addicted. And the fact that they have such credible people coming on this show or documentary and talking about the real world behind all of this, it gives a lot of gravitas, a lot of weightage and credibility to what they say.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
it's not your usual controversy theory that they've thrown at you again.
And I feel like that's what makes you think so deeply about it because
Exactly.
it's coming right from the people who made it, essentially, right?
Yeah.
And just want to go back on that fictional family you mentioned. I think we just have to talk about how this documentary actually shows the social media algorithm.
You know what? It still gives me goosebumps, honestly.
So to put it very simply, it shows that, okay, there's 3 human figures in sort of a control room. And these 3 humans are kind of like puppeteers almost, trying to discuss, okay, how do we boost Ben's engagement? Now, Ben being the kid from the fictional family. And in one scene, Ben's digital avatar, sort of his hologram, is floating in front of these 3 human figures. And I think it's such a clever portrayal of like how each platform sort of manipulates you like a voodoo doll almost,
And
right?
they did mention that, if you remember, we treat you as voodoo dolls.
Or like lab rats.
And they said
Yeah.
something as well. Internet nodes, something, you remember? They said you were like an internet node for them.
Yeah,
A network node or
but
something. I don't clearly
it
remember.
was a fancy word that we forgot.
They did.
But essentially, yeah, like a voodoo doll.
The
a lab
message
rat.
was we control what you do.
Exactly. So that's it, right? Because these 3 human figures in that control room, they say, okay, oh, Ben has been offline for X minutes. Let's send him this notification alert now. Maybe he comes back. Or they say something like, okay, so Ben's been offline, fine. This notification actually worked for people like Ben. That notification brought them online. So let's use it on Ben now. It's actually really creepy because I feel like this is exactly what happens.
Or as sinister as getting into the personal aspect as well.
Oh, yeah.
That was really scary. So I know when you say alarming, I can imagine what you meant. So listeners, they keep trying different things to get Ben's attention, like these little tests. What if we show him this? No reaction? Or let us try something else. So it's just like the A/B testing, but for humans. And the very scary part is every scroll, every pause, the system, the algorithm is watching and rapidly adjusting. It's getting better and better each time in pulling you back.
Yeah.
So, for example, the LinkedIn example, I would love to share that with my listeners here, Nandini. So, I'm very fond of scrolling on LinkedIn endlessly.
Like every
and
30 seconds.
I know exactly.
Are you looking for a new job?
No. So if I have already had a few hours pass by and I've not gone onto the screen back, I get random notifications from LinkedIn alerts saying, "Oh, there's this job for you in the area, similar jobs like your profile,
Yeah.
or there is a similar group of people who are posting some things. Would you want to read?" Or an alert for a person who I should add to the network.
Just to get you back. Yeah.
Exactly. And if you remember, going back to the holographic Ben and the three puppeteers in the room, you would be so surprised to see how the holographic silhouette eventually, with all of that data feed and algorithm adjusting rapidly, turns the holographic silhouette into the real Ben. And it so feels like literally you are the puppet and they are the puppeteers controlling
Exactly,
you.
because they've just gotten that much better at knowing you, knowing what you like, and just basically predicting what
They
you
have a
would
digital
want.
twin of you sitting with them.
Precisely, exactly. And you know what you said, right? With the algorithm and recommending you things, and it's. I feel like it's almost like, what do they call it? Like a digital pacifier, like they mentioned, right?
Oh, yes.
Like if you're sad, if you're stressed, if you're lonely, just scroll and you'll be happy. And I feel like that's what many of us do, just without realizing.
Yeah, I mean, Nandi, there are so many times, right, that maybe I'm feeling low or you feeling sad about something, and we ask, "Are you low? Is there something wrong with you?" And we say, "We don't know." But these people, they know it.
Much
So
better than
remember,
we
they
do.
said that we can look at your scrolling patterns or your search patterns and tell you how you're feeling at that moment. So as you said, right, maybe they know us better than we do ourselves,
Oh,
or maybe I
honestly.
know you, so despite being your mom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then this reminds me of one of the most chilling lines in the documentary. And trust me, when I say this, it sends chills down my spine. If you are not paying for the product, you are the product.
Oh my God, this just reminds me of, when I was in middle school, we used to go to Albert Heijn a lot. This is a grocery store in the Netherlands. And every time I would go there, I would get free Wi-Fi, and I would be really happy because I wouldn't have 4G or 5G at the time. And I would be like, wow, like how can Albert Heijn afford to give Wi-Fi to so many people? Like surely it costs them money. And then now in hindsight, I'm like, okay, great, I was the product.
Exactly. So it really makes you rethink what these platforms are actually doing to you and with you. So we think we're just scrolling for free, watching reels, and we're looking at photographs. But we are not the customer of these platforms, listeners. The customer is the advertiser, and we are what is being sold on these platforms.
I know, seriously, because if you remember, one of the interviewees in the documentary also says it, right? That the way these platforms sell us is through our attention. Like every minute that we stay on, we click on a photograph, we stop a few seconds to watch something, all of that is being tracked, being analyzed, just to make a better and better prediction of what you will like, basically.
And eventually, it's no longer about just showing you ads, honestly. It's about shaping what you want to click on and what you think about, what you care about. And I am strongly recommending listeners do watch this documentary. It's just an hour and a half long. And in here you will see this guy Ben that we mentioned about, the teen in the story. He's not just spending more time on the platform. You can actually see him change as a person.
Oh, yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
From a usual schoolboy thinking about girls and about parties and about soccer and about friends, he's become quieter, he's become more anxious. And you can see that in the way he talks to his family, to his siblings around, and how he then reacts to things.
Oh, absolutely.
And to the
yeah.
social media feeds that keep changing the way he thinks.
Exactly. And I think the impact is also really huge on Ayla, his sister, like we mentioned, with the
Yeah.
mental health. And that's what the documentary does. It sort of connects it to bigger themes, more global themes like mental health, but even misinformation. I also remember they talked about political polarization.
Yes.
Like we could not be more polarized as a society right now, I think. And none of it in this documentary feels exaggerated.
Or dramatized.
Exactly, because like you said right earlier, I think we're watching something we know. Everyone knows this. Like everyone who's using social media knows this very, very well, that we're being tracked, our data is being tracked. But like if you spend time watching this documentary, you really understand what's going on behind the scenes. And that is really scary.
And it sticks with you. And even
Yeah.
till date, these few statements like if you are not paying for the product, you are the product, or the way these alert and notifications come to you to get you back on screen, I think these things still stick, Nandini. After so many years of having watched this, we often find ourselves talking about this over and over again, right? We keep referring to it, right?
Exactly.
We are the product. Oh, this is free. We are being sold.
Yeah.
So it honestly has a few sticky messages, listeners, and that is the reason we stress that you definitely watch it. It's worth your time.
No, I know. I don't think like I'm the kind of person who, if I watch something just once, I forget about it. But this documentary, even though I watched in like 2020 or 2021, I don't think I forgot it at all.
I
Like
haven't as well.
every time something creepy happens on social media, I'm like, do you remember the documentary?
Exactly,
You know?
exactly. And we really liked everything in the documentary. It's lovely. You have to see the insiders speaking about it and the fictional family to show how all of this actually feels. But our recommendation to you is not to determine whether or not you should be on social media. There is no debate about it. It is there and it is going to stay
Yeah,
forever.
exactly.
Right? It's just about peeling a few more layers to see what's inside of it overall. It is a brilliantly portrayed show, and I have to tell you that this is something that we would strongly recommend watching.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But there's one more thing we would like to add, just that the ending felt a little underwhelming to us.
I absolutely agree because I think, like you said, right, the build up was so strong because this idea that social media is almost rewiring our thoughts, it's changing and impacting society, that's like really, really hard hitting. But when it came to how do we attack the problem, I was really disappointed, to be honest.
Yeah, they've offered solutions like turning off notifications or taking breaks or just completely altogether deleting your social media accounts, which we all know and we've heard this so many times. But will they even work? They felt like very small steps.
Like
I don't know.
half-hearted
I don't know,
efforts,
actually.
yeah.
They also spoke about regulation. So, Tristan, this guy, the ethicist, he does talk about regulation. But yes, maybe it's wishful thinking. Can we really regulate this space? Maybe it'll take a lot of time. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, maybe
Also-
it leaves you thinking.
Exactly. And also how concretely as well, like how do you regulate this space? Like it's
Exactly.
surely you can have a regulation around the content and all of that, but companies using data all the time, I don't know. And not to be a pessimist, but I do think it's difficult to do now because, like they said in the documentary as well, the genie is kind of out of the bottle, right?
Yeah.
But I don't mean to distract and detract from the fact that it is a very good documentary. So do give it a shot. Do watch it. I think rating wise, I would give it a solid 9.
I have to disagree. So I will give you a 0.5 extra.
Oh my.
Just because I'll refer back to what I said earlier. It sticks with us every time I get a notification. Every time.
I know, absolutely. But yeah, definitely. It might not, the documentary as a whole might not fix everything, but definitely made us reflect. But next week, for our 10th episode, we're doing something completely different, and I am so excited.
Yes, and for the first time, instead of recommending what to watch, we're going to talk about what to skip.
We're diving into a few shows collectively that we didn't enjoy. Some that we thought were quite overhyped, and others that we think you would think are a bit controversial.
Wait for us to recommend what you should watch next. Stop and think before you click on the show or the movie that keeps coming back to you on your streaming platform. Stay tuned with us. Thank you.